Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Dodgers and Phillies getting underway in Game 2 of their National League Divisional Series in Philadelphia with the Dodgers up 1-0. Shohei Ohtani, who started Game 1 for the Dodgers, would pitch in Game 5 if necessary. That was the message from skipper Dave Roberts. Cubs and Brewers play tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Brewers will have Jackson Chourio batting leadoff and playing left field in tonight's contest as Milwaukee's up 1-0 in that best-of-5 series. Bengals head coach Zach Taylor says they'll evaluate their options at the quarterback position prior to Week 6 matchup in Green Bay. The Bengals fell to the Lions yesterday. Jake Browning threw 3 interceptions in that contest. Brett Rippens, the current backup, to Browning in Cincinnati. Chargers running back Amarian Hampton's placed on injured reserve because of his injured ankle. Patriots running back Antonio Gibson done for the year with a torn ACL, while Colts kicker Spencer Schrader will miss the rest of the season with his knee injury. Chiefs and Jaguars 8:15 Eastern tonight. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Good Monday afternoon. Let's get ready to go on a Reaction Monday. The Nate Brown Show is back and ready. Hope you had a solid weekend. Thanks for taking some time, spending it with us. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. A lot of ways you can listen to the program or watch the show as well, so let's check in there. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Let's get rocking on a Monday show. We are live streaming on X right now, at Nate Brown Show. Watch the show live. Welcome in across the state on X, at Nate Brown Show, and YouTube channel is up. Subscribe if you want to. You've got us there. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. And finally, Midwest Sports Plus, live streaming right now on the new South Dakota High School Sports app. So welcome in on this Monday. Some great guests tonight. We got a lot to cover. Heavy football, as you might know. Let's get going. Look at the guest lineup tonight. Brian Noe's going to join us. A Reaction Monday. It's kind of turning into a thing. Brian Noe is excellent. You hear him on Saturday and Sunday here on Fox Sports Radio, national host of Countdown to Kickoff. We're lucky to get him every week during football, and we try to do this Monday thing, reaction to the NFL. Brian Noe, Fox Sports Radio, he's on tap from Las Vegas, Countdown to Kickoff host. High school sports recap on a Monday with Jason Andera on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Jason with SDPB, SD Preps analyst Jason Andera in from Sioux Falls tonight. Over to the Twin Cities, Thor Nystrom's on, talking Vikings. We'll also break into some college football. Thor Nystrom, college football and NFL draft analyst for Fantasy Life, and Score North out of the Twin Cities. Thor Nystrom's in tonight, and the Sturgis Scoopers get a big win. How about Sturgis? What's the deal, man? 11 AA in high school football is really solid this year as far as parity goes. These games are really the best ones. We've had some highlight games in other classes, But 11 AA, the class that was so bad, meaning Pierre just dominated, there was no other team in the conversation. Now the last couple of years, maybe the most interesting at 11 AA. Big upset. Sturgis knocks down number 1 Yankton. We'll talk to the head coach for the Scoopers tonight. Is Sturgis the real deal? Chris Koletzky's coming up from Sturgis. If you want in tonight, I invite you on. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline is open, 605-720-1067. How you be in touch with us? 605-720-1067. Mark that down. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch. Great supporters of local sports in every community, and they're at East 10th Street in Sioux Falls, also in Brandon, locations in Rapid City. That's the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. You know that. Also, Barron's Wilson text line open for you, 605-720-1067. Text us tonight on the Barron's Wilson text line. One more shot there, 605-720-1067. All right, if you're watching the show on X or on YouTube, let's get this up there. I got my Broncos shirt on. I said, I got to wear the Broncos shirt today. It's ready to go. Am I drinking the Kool-Aid? I had lunch with a buddy today. He said, you Broncos fans are annoying. You guys are annoying. And I'm going to say, hang on a second. Can we not see that this win for the Broncos is a massive win? Can we not actually take joy that the Eagles and the Eagles fans go down? I mean, you guys should enjoy this. You got Nick Sirianni talking trash every game. You got Eagles fans. They think they're the team. And the Denver Broncos did you guys a favor yesterday by taking down the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. It was a pretty sight. I watched every second of the game. I didn't bail. I didn't get totally ticked off. It was 17-3. It looked like it was uphill climb. What an explosion in the fourth quarter. And I'm here to say there's people now putting, well, what does this mean for the Broncos? And I saw this headline from a Denver reporter. This is a franchise-changing win. A franchise-changing win. Now, I am a Broncos fan. You know I try and be realistic here. I try and be fair and balanced on the Nate Brown Show. At least I try. I do. I would not say it's a franchise-changing win. I know what people are saying. They're saying, hey, this is the type of game you have to win. This is the type of Super Bowl contending team that you have to beat if you want to be considered in the upper echelon of the NFL. I said that last week. I said, I'm not going to go crazy yet. I think the Broncos are good, not great. And I said, you got to beat a team like Philly to be up there. So they can be considered very competitive and very good this year. It doesn't have to be a franchise-changing win because the NFL is week by week, and we always go Hot Take Central on Mondays, and reporters and everything else, they go crazy saying, Sean Payton's finally got him over the top. This is the game. This is the one. You're going to look back on it and remember Denver beat Philly, and that was the turn of the tide. This is a huge win, a big win, and what it tells me is what? This tells me that the Broncos are going to be right in this thing to the end, which I have always said on the program. I don't have to say they're a Super Bowl contending team right away like Sean Payton did. They are going to be in this thing to the end, and I said last Thursday on the show, I had them ranked as the second best team in the AFC West. I said even last Thursday, Chargers, people said they're good and they're outstanding. They've lost a couple of games now to the Giants in Washington there in L.A., and it's not looking as good, and I saw that coming. So I'm here to tell you, it's not a franchise-changing win. It's a massive win for my Broncos, and here's what would be a change in the franchise. Who do you have to get through? This is me being realistic. Who do the Broncos still have to get through? It's not beating Philadelphia for the first time in Philly since 1986. That's not the thing. That's a great win, a massive win. A job well done. It shows the Broncos are here to be in this thing to the end. They have to beat and take down your Kansas City Chiefs. That's all there is to it. There is no other This is going to change the franchise. This is going to do that. They got to get a playoff win. People say, well, maybe they'll win a game of the playoffs now. No. If they want to really be the team again, we used to own the AFC West. We haven't for a decade. Haven't owned the AFC West for a decade. That's the team that the Broncos still have to get through. And the Chiefs are up to it now because they're getting guys back. This is a team that's going to be tough. And you know the Broncos, they're going to hang in this. I think it's the Broncos and the Chiefs in the AFC West. I said it last week, even before this win. So the Broncos and the Chiefs. And you Chiefs fans now, I'm talking to you Chiefs fans. This used to be a walkover. This used to be a Sunday walk in the park and having a fruit cup at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It used to be a walkthrough. There's no more walkthroughs when you're facing the Broncos. There's no more easy stuff when you're facing the Broncos. I give you Chiefs credit. I give your team unbelievable credit. The Broncos are here. They'll be in this thing to the end. It was a massive win yesterday, but it does not compare to what the Broncos have to do. That's beat Kansas City in a real game, not JV team at the end of the year. They almost had them last year. Can the Broncos get over the top? That's when I'll come on the program and say, now we're talking. I mean, I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. I don't like Philly. I mean, you got to be happy the Eagles get beat. I love it. But I'm telling you what will really change the tide. When I start talking franchise has turned, that's when they are taking down the Chiefs. Not a one-off game. We beat them with Russell Wilson. I was there. I thought, man, this is, I can't believe this is the only time we beat them. And that's the only time still. That's what's still in the Broncos' way. I honestly believe that. Let's see here. Listener text coming in. What's a worse feeling in your life, a Cubs playoff loss or a Broncos loss? Well, I'm very emotional with the Cubs now that they're in the playoffs. Baseball's such a pressure-packed situation. Very emotional, but my Cubbies got an uphill climb. Brewers blasted them the other day. Got an uphill climb. We'll see what happens in Game 2 tonight. Let's see. So that's where I'm at of the Broncos. I'm here to tell you, I still see out in front of me who's out there, and it's still the Chiefs. People can put down the Chiefs. They could say they're no good, they're no this. They got Mahomes. They got a championship team and a roster and a whole mentality. It's a whole culture there. That's when we've arrived. That's when it's franchise changing. Huge win for the Broncos in Philly, no doubt. And by the way, can we just talk about the Eagles for a second? I mean, these guys are head cases. I mean, that's a team that is ripe for just getting beat. People are whining, complaining. The media hits them hard out there in Philly, the local market, and the players have to answer stupid questions. I mean, that's a team, just mark it here. I don't know if they're going to make a deep run. I honestly don't know. They're a mess as far as culture. And, Sirianni does great. They have a good thing. They got guys talking and wide receivers getting upset and all sorts of stuff. So I didn't like the underpinnings there of what I was seeing with Philly, and I do like the feeling in Denver. The next step is, can they be there with the Chiefs? I think the Broncos and the Chiefs battle this out the whole year. That's the game you got to mark down coming up in November is when the Broncos take on Kansas City. Speaking of football, I got to get into this, and I'm going to open it up on the Nate Brown Show tonight with a question of the day because this is something I think just has to be talked about openly now. I mean, we just have to talk about this openly. So I go to the Sioux Falls Jefferson Rapid City Stevens football game Friday. Okay? And say what you want about Rapid City Stevens and their injuries. They've got a bunch of injuries. So people that are listening in Rapid City may know, hey, the Stevens team is a shell of itself. I mean, they got guys hurt, like 17 players, something like this. So I understand that is going to damage a team. There's still issues there before the injuries, and then you throw that on top of it. I go to the game Friday, and I'm just looking as an objective observer. The Sioux Falls Jefferson team that runs out of the field, they have so many players I can't even count them. I mean, they have so many players. They line up from goal line to from sideline to sideline, all the way across the goal line for the national anthem. I mean, it fills it up. They're too deep there. Then I look at Stevens, and I know there's injuries, but even outside of the injuries, there's hardly any players. There's just hardly any players. So I started looking at this. You knew right from the start that Sioux Falls Jefferson, it was a mismatch. The number of players, the depth chart, the size, the speed, the strength. It was a mismatch. And so I'm thinking about this saying, I got to have some takeaways from this, because I watched that game and it turns into being Stevens was down by 50 at half. Stevens was already down by 50 at half. And so I'm sitting here watching Jefferson. They really aren't getting anything out of it. I mean, they really aren't. Stevens is not getting anything out of it. They're trying to not get hurt. They already have a bunch of players hurt. I think there was like 28 guys out there on a AAA football team. 28 guys in uniform, I think. And so I'm thinking here, credit number one to the Stevens players and coaches, the players and coaches that actually competed out there on Friday in a game which you knew how it was going to go, and it started off, pretty much like that. Stevens can't match up, yet the players are out there trying to work hard, and I know some of them. They're trying to play. So this is for everybody. Some people say, "Oh, I'm not even going to play. Why would I even want to play? Why would I even want to do that?" Well, credit to the kids that say, I am going to compete. And I know there's some kids out on that Stevens team that are giving it their all, big time. Those are the types of players you feel bad about in a certain scenario that we have in South Dakota high school football, meaning we got to be able to find a way to adapt our system so we can have better games, better matchups, better programs. It'd be easy for the kids out there on Friday for Stevens, easy for them to just be like some of the other kids over there. Well, it's not worth this. Why am I playing this? They should be commended for their commitment. Football's a hard sport as it is, and then you're going up against Sioux Falls every week. It's not working out. And so I credit the kids sticking with it. However, this is some of the lowest numbers I've seen in 20 years. Stevens football hasn't had a ton of success as it is in 20 years. This is some of the lowest numbers I've seen. Yes, there are some injuries. But if the number trend is like that, the new coach, Willie Steven, he's not going to be able to change things by himself. He's not going to be able to change things just like, hey, I'm going to get more kids out and we're going to have a better team. I mean, it doesn't happen. There's got to be a couple of things here. There has to be a conversation about football scheduling in South Dakota. There has to be a conversation from ADs and the board of South Dakota, the board of directors, about a success factor. When you haven't won a game in 2 years and you just get blasted and then there's more injuries on top of it, how do you think that's going to go as that program moves forward? So the conversation has to be Stevens and the schools should be able to schedule some of their own games. A lot of people don't know this in South Dakota. They don't get to schedule their own games. All the other sports do that. The other sports schedule regional games, some games here. If you want to mandate certain AAA level games to be had, you can. You should for the playoffs and seeding and all of that. But Sioux Falls Jefferson should be able to schedule some other games when they maybe don't want to come out to Rapid City and play a team that's down. Stevens should be able to schedule their own games and play regionally, because all it takes is some wins to build a culture and get things back. A little bit. And so when I say a success factor, Douglas hasn't won a game in 3 years. Stevens hasn't won now in a couple of years. You got to be able to have teams be able to move down based on a success factor over a cycle. Then they can win, and a whole lot. I don't care if they beat a couple of teams. They just got to be able to win a couple of times to get kids excited. And there's got to be a school-wide change over there. There's got to be some young male athletes in the young classes saying, we got to take some ownership and rally here. It was a tough scene Friday night. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
But I don't know the right answer to this because this topic, as you all know, just frustrates the heck right out of me. But our administration has to change the way they think. And I'm talking about ours and the way the across the state is. I mean, not only do these kids get their butts handed to them, they travel across to Sioux Falls to get their butts handed to them.
Yep.
And so what parent is like, if your kid comes to you and says, hey, I don't want to do this.
Right.
What's the reason to tell them, well, I think you should hang in there, buddy?
No, there is no answer.
The Rushmore Bowl is a perfect example of why we can't get of our own way. Why are we playing in a Sioux Falls team in the Rushmore Bowl?
Right.
Why isn't it Sturgis and Spearfish against Stevens and Central?
Like it used to be
that way.
Yes, like it used to be. Yes. Perfect.
Why can't we even we can't even get that right. So it just...
That is right.
Excuse me, but it frustrates the heck right out of me. And I've got a boy that plays for Central and goes and takes a beating. They take beatings they're more competitive than Stevens is right now. They're where Central was 3 years ago.
Right, correct.
I mean, that's where they're at. And I think Willie could turn it around. He's going to need help from parents talking to their kids into this, though, and making them believe that they can make a difference. But we don't do that anymore. We don't fight like we used to. We just say, you know what, you're right. We should probably let you be done.
Yeah.
And it's got to change. Mindset's got to change. And I'm talking from the kids to the administration to the state level and to what you say. We can't play Pier. We can't play Spearfish. We can't. Why do we got to travel to Sioux Falls every other weekend?
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I appreciate your passion.
Thanks for letting me vent.
Thank you, man. That's a great call right there. That's a great call. I think he just said what I was saying, and he just added on with some good points from experience, from a parent's side. So, I mean, I said we got to work on a system that allows for better scheduling, more competitive games. It just makes too much sense. And I'm talking to everybody in Pierre, the board of directors. I'm talking to the ADs across the state. We got to have more competitive games that save schools budget money, that make people happier, meaning Sioux Falls, too. They want to play other schools, too. They don't want to come out and just wallop teams like they did Friday. So there are people that are on board with this. Yeah, we just bang our head against the wall. It's like, well, yeah, we're going to have a conversation about the success factor and maybe having teams move down, and then people have said, we want to schedule our own games. I've talked to people out here. West River, they want to schedule their own games. And then it just goes, poof, gone. And we keep seeing the same thing. It's going to have to be some multiple changes across the board if you want that scene Friday night. The student body from Stevens came out. There was good students there. They wanted to cheer. They were there. It's 15-0 at half. And then that whole thing's gone. Passion, culture, it's gone. You've got to make changes to allow programs like Stevens to get it back. Brian Noah's in next. A lot to discuss tonight. Fox Sports Radio host of Countdown to Kickoff. Brian Noah on the way.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share. To revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and when Renewal offered to pay for employees' radon testing and mitigation, several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know what a killer it is, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
From all of us at Renewal by Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Taking steps to protect your family's financial future? Don't let life insurance be the thing that slides. It can help your family during difficult times. Lee Cruz with New York Life Insurance Company can help you get started. He's local and will help you find the right policy to fit your needs and budget. You can Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. That's Lee Cruz New York Life. Protect your family.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, just getting going on a Monday. Reaction Monday on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. We'll talk to Chris Koletzky coming up. Sturgis had a huge win on Friday over number one Yankton. Sturgis Scooper head coach Chris Koletzky is coming up tonight. We'll talk high school football with Jason Andera in our Monday recap. Jason Andera, SDPB, live from Sioux Falls, straight ahead. Let's go Brian Noe on a Reaction Monday. Countdown to kickoff host. I was listening to him this weekend. You should as well, getting you ready for all the big games Saturday and Sunday. Countdown to kickoff on Fox Sports Radio. Brian, welcome back on. How are you?
I'm great, Nate. Always good to talk to you, man. We got a lot to react to, huh? I'm going to talk extra fast so we can react to as many things as possible, I think, right?
I've got a tough question for you, I think. Did my Broncos win over Philly tell you more about the Broncos or actually tell you more about where the Eagles are really at? What do you say?
Now, now, Nate Brown, this is why you are outstanding at what you do. This is a brain teaser of a question. You know what I mean? I would say, man, it's a blend of both, obviously, but which is it more of? I would say it was a little more revealing for your Broncos for a couple of reasons, because we've known this for the Eagles. We've seen this with the Eagles this year, where it's like, we've said it week after week, where it's like they're still finding ways to win. It hasn't been perfect by any stretch. It hasn't even been pretty by any stretch, but they're finding ways to win, but they can't run the ball and they can't throw the ball. So we know that they've had issues. We know that they've been begging for a loss, and they finally got one. What we didn't know about the Broncos is that they can beat one of the better teams in the NFL. They had one real win, as you well know, last year against a team with a winning record. They technically had 2 wins, but one of those was in Week 18 when the Chiefs were resting Patrick Mahomes and all their good players. So that doesn't even count. They had 1 win against a team with a winning record last year. So they beat up on bum teams. They were bum slayers, and they folded in games against good teams. They found ways to lose. And this time they found a way to win. I thought they were dead, Nate. Down 17-3.
Yeah.
They score 2 touchdowns. They go for 2. Sean Payton shows some stones. They get it, and they waltz out of there with the win. I think it said more about the Broncos than the Eagles.
I got to get your read on the going for 2. Now, Sean Payton, this puppy worked out perfectly. I mean, he had to have things fall in place, and they did, but that was 7.5 minutes left, and it was like 1 minute left. He gained 1 point off that, and then they ended up winning by 4. So things fell into place. He wasn't lining that out, saying, "Well, if we get this, then we'll go up by this, and then we'll do it." If they wouldn't have got that, momentum shifts back to the Eagles. There was 7.5 minutes left. What are we doing?
I know, man. Hey, it worked out perfectly. He looks like a genius if you score the 2. He looks like an idiot if you don't get it. Like that. But that's been his MO, right? It goes back to the Super Bowl with the Saints where he went with the surprise onside to start the second half. If they don't get that, Nate, we're probably still talking about, this compulsive gambler, Sean Payton, and screwing up a Super Bowl, and that's what he's known for. But it worked out then. It worked out yesterday, but you're right. It's a major, major roll of the dice, and, man, it worked out perfectly.
It was wild. I didn't get it. I was sitting here watching. I started yelling. My wife was doing some work. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, he's doing it again. What's he doing? We got it. Okay, we won. Okay, I'm happy. Thanks, Sean. 1 out of 5 ain't bad. Okay, let me ask you on this. Broncos, I said, this isn't a franchise-changing win. I still think the Chiefs, that's the team that the Broncos have to get through. I still believe that. People are saying this is a franchise-changing win.
Well, I mean, that was a great win, but I would pump the brakes. I'd be a little bit more like you. The Chiefs are still the class of this division, and so they've got a lot more work to do. The Chargers have certainly come back to earth. They are officially, like, both feet planted right back on planet Earth after a hot start. Got a lot of injuries. They're up 10-0. They lose by 17. You're up by 10 points and you lose by 17 at home. That's crazy. But with their offensive line is banged up. Now Amari and Hampton is on IR. He's going to miss 4 games. They can't protect Herbert. So that's good news for the Broncos. But, man, these Chiefs are starting to get healthier, right? The Chiefs are the opposite of the Chargers, and they're going to get Rashee Rice back pretty quickly here. So, yeah, you got a lot more work to do to win that division. So that's a great, great win yesterday for the Broncos, but I wouldn't go just nuts on that one. It's not like they've slayed the Chiefs yet.
I said last Thursday, my 1 through 4 rankings in the AFC West, I had the Chiefs 1, the Broncos 2, and I got ripped for that, saying, the Chargers, are you going to put the Broncos 2? I said, no, it's the Chiefs 1, Broncos 2. I feel good about that, where we sit right now. Okay, I want to get your take on the Patriots. Same type of deal. Patriots knock off the Bills. Is this a one-off, or are the Patriots coming here?
No, I think the Patriots are for real. I think the Patriots are a playoff team. I think they're much improved. I think Drake May is the real deal. I think Drake May has the goods, and he doesn't have a star-studded cast around him. But you know what's crazy, Nate, is I don't expect them to make it to the AFC Championship game this year. But there are a lot of similarities between this year's Patriots and last year's Commanders. Where if you look at these teams, the Commanders, 2 years ago, they had only won 4 games, and then they won 12 last year. Well, last year, the Patriots won 4 games, and both teams made a lot of off-season additions, right? You had a lot of free agency moves from the Commanders. They built a lot of talent. They upgraded the roster quite a bit. That's what the Patriots did this offseason. They had a spending spree. They really upgraded the talent on that roster. And the other weird thing about them is if you look at the two divisions that the Patriots play, their schedule, they play the AFC North top to bottom, and they play the NFC South top to bottom. Nate, those are the exact two same divisions that the Washington Commanders played last year when they made their big jump from 4 wins to 12 wins. So I think there are a lot of similarities, and I don't expect the Patriots to be the spitting image of the Commanders last season, but Drake May is a real quarterback. As Jaden Daniels, he's a special quarterback, and I think those rosters being upgraded and the schedules that they're playing, a lot of similarities between the two. So I fully expect the Patriots to be a playoff team, and I think they can make a little bit of noise in the playoffs as well. That's a sound scheme. I like Mike Vrabel as a coach. And when you go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen and the Bills, you waltz into their backyard and take them down like that. I think the Bills were 10-3 against winning teams at home. That's not an easy place to go in there and win. And the Patriots did it. They played great. I think they're for real. I don't think that was a one-off at all.
Brian Noe on tonight from Fox Sports Radio. His show is Saturday and Sunday, counting you down to kickoff on Fox Sports Radio. Is here on a Reaction Monday on the Nate Brown Show on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. So, are you still going to tell me Sam Darnold is just a guy? He's just a guy. He's lighting it up, Brian. He lit it up again.
Yeah, until it mattered most, and he threw an interception to lose the game, Nate. They looked great until it really mattered, and then he screwed it up. That's what Sam Darnold does.
Oh, so tough on Sam. By the way, Vikings win. They get a heck of a throw from Carson Wentz. He goes over 200 yards. He gets a game-winning touchdown. It's not pretty right now. Minnesota has offensive linemen down. Injuries across the board. They just got Jordan Addison back. Vikings at 3-2. Do you feel good if you're them?
I don't, Nate. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, you got to win. And it's funny, when you look at the standings, you're like, wow, it looks a little bit better than I thought it would. But I don't know where they are at quarterback. They need to get J.J. McCarthy back healthy. Of course, they've got the bye week, which helps. That comes at a really good time for them. They're so banged up. And on deck, they're at home against the Eagles, and then they're at the Chargers and at the Lions. So that is a really, really tough 3-game stretch for them. So hopefully J.J. McCarthy will be good to go, and hopefully you'll see him take a major step or two forward, because they're going to need that. And, man, I don't like that mixture of young quarterback and decimated offensive line. But, hey, they got the win. It was enough against the Browns there across the pond. And that's the name of the game, man, these early season games. If you can just stack wins, even in the ugliest fashion possible, it's going to help you down the road. And I think that even as ugly as it was against the Browns, that's a key win for them. They just got to get a lot healthier, and they got to get their quarterback situation really ironed out to do anything.
Talking ball with Brian Noe. You're in Las Vegas, so what are people saying about Pete Carroll and the Raiders?
It's just a disaster, Nate. It's bad, man. But it's not, it's pretty easy to explain, where you look at it and you're like, well, their offensive line is banged up. Colton Miller was out for that game, and they just can't do anything really well. Geno Smith is handing out interceptions like candy. He waltzed into that game with 6 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions, And so, if anything, Pete Carroll's getting clowned for kicking a field goal extremely late in that game, and it's like, what are they even doing right now? So it's pretty crazy how, like I said, these losses just kind of stack up. And that was a winnable game against the Bears a week ago. And the field goal is blocked. They would have been 2-2 if they won that game. Instead, they fall to 1-3. They get the doors blown off of them by the Colts, and now they're 1-4, and they look like a disaster. You know what I mean? That's how those winnable games, if you don't take advantage, they'll come back to bite you very quickly, and that's exactly where the Raiders are, man. I just think that the roster is incredibly flawed, so it's not like Pete Carroll is going to get the Bill Belichick treatment, It's like, yeah, we got to be reasonable about what we expect this team to do, but at the same time, it should be better than what it is.
You know who Pete Carroll should have brought in there? Sam Darnold. Anyway, thanks for playing. He could have. Brian Noe on tonight, Fox Sports Radio. The show is countdown to kickoff. It's the best show on Saturday and Sunday football in the country. Brian, always appreciate you, man. Thanks.
You know, the way you feel about Sam Darnold is how I feel about you, Nate Brown. That's the best way I could put it.
Warm and fuzzy. All right. Brian Noe on tonight, countdown to kickoff host. He is on Fox Sports Radio, and he's on the Nate Brown Show on a Reaction Monday, live from Vegas. Listener text coming in. Let's read a few on the NFL reaction. According to for the Philadelphia Eagles, I think the Eagles are going to struggle. Myself now, meaning, what do I mean by that? They're not going to go on a Super Bowl run here. So this team just has some bad things going on. It looks like people are whining and people are getting this and getting that. I mean, what did they run Saquon Barkley yesterday? Single digits? Single digits, guys. It's like, what are you doing? Listener text coming in. Nate, Sirianni loses all credibility in the locker room by pandering to A.J. Brown. Look for the champs to go into free fall. Oh, interesting. I don't know about free fall, but I'm more with you on that. Listener text. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are making their former teams look foolish. Yeah, that's right. That is right. I mean, Sam Darnold's over 80% completion yesterday, 300-some yards. Let's not get into the Sam Darnold Vikings situation again. Let's not do that today. Listener text on Sean Payton. Nate, come on. Why can you never give Sean Payton any credit? If they just kicked the extra point there at the end of the game, it turns out Philly would have only needed a field goal to tie, and that would have been overtime. Do you have to complain about everything Sean Payton does? Well, I don't complain about everything Sean does. I don't complain about everything he does. I am going to say, you said if he just kicks the extra point there at the end of the game, there was 7.5 minutes left. If he doesn't get that 2-point conversion yesterday, guys, it's not pretty. You got all the momentum. You're rolling. You don't get that. You're down 17-16. Momentum, boom, gone. Who knows what happens then? So he, like I said, he got it. We got bailed out on a no-pass interference call at the end of the game, the last drive. He had things fall into place, and it worked out great. There have been things Sean's done that has not worked out. Against the Chargers, for example, 1st and goal from inside the 5. We passed it. Pass interference, we go backwards, we lose. We don't kick a field goal against the Titans when we're at the 35-yard line. Luckily, it was the Titans. Otherwise, we could have had a problem. So, I don't complain about everything Sean does, but my assessment of Sean is he just overthinks stuff. Calls the field goal block, a goofy block on a 60-yarder against the Colts. Why? So, just make it easy, man. I don't know what would have happened if we would have kicked the extra point. I don't know. But turns out it fell into place and we got it. But that was bold. I will say that. I mean, it was bold. 7.5 minutes left. Let's see. Listener text one more on the Vikings. Nate, I'm a Vikings fan. I feel like Dylan Gabriel played pretty well against a great Vikings defense. Considering how well Gabriel played, does Shedeur Sanders even see the field? Well, it's an interesting question. Shedeur will see the field because I'm as tall as Dylan Gabriel, about 5'8.5". Anyway, so Dylan's not going to cut it. So played okay. You say a great Vikings defense, and I would say a good Vikings defense. I think there's holes there. I think if the Browns would have stuck with the run a little bit more, teams can run it on the Vikes. So I think a good Vikings defense, I wouldn't say great. That's the difference. And Dylan Gabriel was fine. He airmailed some big throws in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was not good in the fourth quarter. So Jason Andera's in next. High school football recap on a Monday. A lot to discuss on this with Jandy coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Kickoff just got bigger. Murphy's Pub and Grill is back with NFL Sunday Ticket. That means every game, every team, every Sunday. Right here at your favorite bar. Cheer loud, eat big, and score with Murphy's game day specials on food and drinks. The atmosphere, electric. The staff, legendary. The screens, everywhere. This season, don't just watch football. Experience it. NFL Sunday Ticket is back, baby. Murphy's Pub and Grill, your new football headquarters. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com.
Out here, we have a deeper connection to the land, a stronger connection to our neighbors, standing on our own 2 feet while also working together. The power to do more connects us all. At member-owned West River Electric Association, it's all of us working together to make today and tomorrow better. This is Co-op Country.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Step into Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort during their $120,000 Players Paycheck giveaway. You can win a prize package every 30 minutes on Friday and Saturday nights. Then, during the grand prize drawing on Saturday, November 1st, someone will win a $26,000 Players Paycheck. Your choice of $500 cash and promo play every week for a year, or a one-time payment of $10,000 in cash. The $120,000 Players Paycheck only at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort.
It's time to hit the court at the Wautiki Fall Hoop Fest, November 7th through the 9th at the Box Elder Event Center. 3 days of non-stop basketball action as teams battle it out for bragging rights and glory. Divisions for boys and girls, grades 5th through 10th. Bring your game, bring your team, and bring the energy. And when the game's over, celebrate with special Courtyard by Marriott room rates that include Wautiki Water Park passes for even more fun. Don't sit on the sidelines. Register your team today at thebox.live.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Hey, welcome back in. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you. Guys and gals across the board, we're equal opportunity on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Hey, you know there's more women that listen to this program than any other sports show in the country, right? I think. Appreciate you being here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio across the state. The Nate Brown Show with Thor Nystrom's coming up from the Twin Cities. We'll talk Vikings first and then into the college stuff. There's a big story out today about Bill Belichick. Just like an hour ago that I was getting ready for the show, I said, I got to get on this. So that's coming up. Thor Nystrom's on the way from the Twin Cities College Football NFL Draft Analyst. Jason Andera in every Monday on the Nate Brown Show. He is one of the best high school guys in the country. I believe that. We have a special thing in South Dakota. Great coverage of high school sports. And he's on SDPB. The show is Game Time. Jason, welcome in. How are you?
Wow, I don't know what to believe, Nate.
That's
the
true.
Comments about the women or the comments about some of the best high school coverage in the nation.
That's right.
I guess I'll pick and choose.
That's right. I mean, this isn't Hot Take Central, man. This is real stuff today. I got to get your read on the biggest game out there in AAA. Brandon Valley takes down Sioux Falls Lincoln. How close are these teams?
They are extremely close. Watching the game up close and personal, I think both teams have some parts to their game that is difficult for the other team to deal with. And, if things could have went a little bit differently on both sides, there were some crazy penalties in that game that really weighed the momentum back and forth. Brandon Valley came into that game, I think they were missing 7 starters in the game. Not the key, some of the key guys. They were missing their starting quarterback, Briggs Knudsen, though, who went out of the game the day before with mono, so that shakes things up. But their backup did a really nice job. A lot of variables in this game. But remember, last year they played in the regular season. Brandon won by close to 40 points, and Lincoln came back the next time and claimed the title. And I think that's about as much as we're going to learn from this year's game as well. It's just going to be different the next time that these two teams play. There'll be adjustments on both sides. But to answer your question, these teams are very even.
Okay, so you say very even. Here's my read on it from afar as I was watching this. Brandon Valley, what was it? They're running back 270 yards? 270 yards, 3 touchdowns. So I'm wondering if Brandon Valley is actually quite a bit better up front on both sides. Is that a huge deal?
Yes, they definitely are. But you just can't count Lincoln out. The way they can quick score. I mean, every time they have their back against the wall, they've got a big field in front of them. They find a way to quickly score the football, and that's something nobody else in the state has. Is Brody Schaefer. He to me looked like Lincoln Keenholz. He looked that good. He just looked like a guy who could take over a game with his arm and his legs. So, yes, the lines definitely favor Brandon Valley. Levi Veskerna ran for almost 300 yards and then left the game because of cramps, and his backup came in and ran for 100 yards. So that does tell you that up front, Brandon Valley knows what they're doing. They can move people. They can move down the field as well. It takes them a little bit longer, but both of these teams, it's going to come down to penalties and turnovers the next time they play.
Brandon Valley takes down Sioux Falls Lincoln, a great game Friday. Jason Andera's on tonight. Let's look at a couple of games coming up. So what do we got? Jefferson Harrisburg this week. That's one to watch for me. How do you see this?
Yeah, I think Harrisburg hasn't really been tested yet. They played O'Gorman, right? And then they still haven't played Lincoln. They still haven't played Brandon Valley, haven't played Jefferson until this week. We don't really know what Harrisburg's made of. And they looked good. They looked good against some of the competition that they've been going up against. But we don't know what they're going to do when they start playing these top teams. To me, I think Jefferson and O'Gorman are a half step above where Harrisburg is right now, but it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell as we get into these last couple weeks of the season. Things have changed. I think this Harrisburg team they've got a lot of young guys. They make a lot of mistakes still this far into the season, and I just like the way Jefferson comes out and plays a complete game. I think the Cavaliers are probably one of those teams you got to be talking about. And O'Gorman, you do too. O'Gorman, even though they struggled with Pierre at the end of the game, they were able to put up 20 straight points against them and find a way to come back and get it done at the end.
Yeah, O'Gorman beats Pierre this week in a crossover battle. How about a battle in 11 AA? Yankton was ranked number 1, South Dakota Power 5 poll, and Sturgis takes them down. So you've said, and I've looked at it, 11 AA, maybe the best class as far as parity goes. You don't know who's really the best. What did you think of Sturgis, though, getting that win?
Well, the obvious thing that stuck out in that game was their quarterback, Jackson Cano, and he was phenomenal. He made big play after big play with his feet. And, in a game, really, other than that, it was pretty even. Jackson Cano looked like a game breaker for Sturgis. And that's the one thing that Chris Koletzky told me they have, is they've got some guys with skill. Sully Joseph's had some big games, and now Cano's had some really big games. And Yankton turned the ball over 3 times in that game, and one of them was on a touchdown that they fumbled out of the back of the end zone. So, there's not a lot of difference. It just comes down to some small things, and Sturgis has the people to make things happen. But now they've got Pierre coming up this week, and, Pierre's coming off of a couple of losses. Sturgis coming off of a huge win, and I could easily see that one going the other way. So you just don't know in 11AA.
It's up and down. Who would you rank as number one? I had a hard time in the Power 5 poll. Who is the number one team in 11AA?
Yeah, it is hard to tell. It's really who's the best team right now. It's probably Huron with those 4 straight victories since their loss at the beginning of the year. When T gets fully healthy, which they just got their stud back, Brenner Conrad, and he's working his way back into the lineup, they could be that team as well. And Pierre, for that matter, they were a pick 6 away from beating Huron, and then they lost to a AAA team last week and had another game where it came within inches of winning. So I think Pierre always gets better by the end of the season. But Huron, what they've done defensively, offensively, they gave a lot of players a rest last week against Douglas, and luckily it paid off. I think they're a team that's looking really good right now.
Okay, last quick one, and it's a deep one though, but it's a quick one for Jason Andera. I went to the Jefferson-Stevens game. That thing was over in the first quarter, not even midway through. It was over 50 points at half, and Stevens has like 17 injuries. That's the lowest number of players I've seen on a Stevens sideline in 20 years that I've been doing it. How do you get a program made right when that's what you're facing? Numbers, losses. They haven't won a game in a year and a half.
Yeah, that is a tough task. But look at Sturgis and Spearfish just a few years ago, where they were at. They had to start from ground zero and rebuild, and that's what Stevens has to do right now. It's kind of sad. There are a couple programs across the state going through that. You look at Cologne. They were in the Dome not that long ago, winning championships. They haven't scored a single point this year. Wilmot had a game scheduled against Britton Hecla, and they basically forfeited the game that's coming up this Friday because they don't feel it's safe to play with the players that they have on the field. This is the issue with some teams that don't have the numbers right now. And as far as AAA teams go, that's exactly where Stevens is at.
Yeah. Tough times for Stevens football, and they've had rough times. I mean, they've had 20 years of tough times. Maybe not quite as down as they are now. Jason Andera, watch his show. It's coming out on Wednesday. It's called Game Time on SDPB Sports. They do a great job covering high school sports. Jason, good to have you, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Talk to you later.
Appreciate it. Jason Andera on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline tonight from Sioux Falls. SDPB Sports, high school sports analyst. Good stuff with Jandy tonight. I'm going to get into this high school football discussion more because I'm going to have a question of the day on it for the audience. I'm going to have a question of the day on this. If you could if you supported one change to how we did South Dakota high school football, I've got a couple of options. Like maybe we can't get everything, but maybe we can get people to actually take something serious and make one change. And I've got a couple of options. We'll discuss here in the second hour straight ahead. First, let's go to a college football story that's really blowing up. It just came out about an hour ago about Bill Belichick in North Carolina. There's a big story from a TV station back there. How much would you believe things that are being said in this story? I'm going to get to that coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign. Employees radon testing and mitigation. Several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know what a killer it is, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
From all of us at Renewal by Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Endless red lights and long idle times. They wear things down fast. Brakes, fluids, engine components, they all take a beating. That's where Al's D&I Repair in Rapid City comes in. We handle the maintenance that keeps your vehicle ready for whatever the city throws at it. Al's D&I, fixing it right since 77. Check in at Al's D&I on Sturgis Road and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Hang tight. We've got Sturgis head coach Chris Koletzky coming up tonight. Sturgis with a massive win over #1 Yankton. Now the Scoopers taking on Pierre this week. So a big time for Scooper football. I love to see the Scoops getting after it. That's big time. Chris Koletzky's coming up, head coach. Thor Nystrom's on from Minneapolis tonight. We'll talk Vikings and some college football with Thor Nystrom, Fantasy Life, and Score North, college football NFL analyst. If you want to be a part of the program, you can text us on the Barron's-Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. That's your number. Barron's-Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. Here, I want to touch on this before I get into my high school football discussion. I had some major takeaways from the Stevens-Sioux Falls-Jefferson game on Friday night as I was watching just, things going on and players and the team and the fans of the whole thing, the student body. So I'm going to get into that here in the second hour at a question of the day on the high school football side. What's one thing you would support changing for South Dakota high school football? We'll get into that. But this Bill Belichick thing, what do you think of this? What do you think of this Bill Belichick thing? I mean, it's really been underreported from a national perspective because they're just losing and losing. And Bill Belichick, we came out of that first game. I remember it was hyped. You got Michael Jordan there. you got all these people there. And then they just get pounded. And they're getting pounded left and right. Well, now a big news story from a TV station out there. And you normally don't get like hot take stuff from TV stations. This is normally like the message boards and the student newspapers. They get all the scoops, and here's what people are saying. WRAL News out of North Carolina. Headline: Players and parents blame Belichick culture for UNC problems. Players and parents blame Belichick culture for UNC problems. And you can find this. I'm not going to go through the whole story tonight. WRAL, if you want to read into it. I had read it before I came on the show today. It just came out this afternoon. This TV station says they have sources, and then some of them are parents. So these are parents of players. Here's a source. First-hand knowledge, quote, "It's an unstructured mess. There's no culture, no organization. It's a complete disaster." That's one of the sources. Here's another one, a parent of a current player, quoted in the story. "It all starts at the top, and the boys are being affected. I don't fault the players. I fault the leadership that created this toxic environment. There's an individualistic mindset, and the boys are young, and they're feeding into it." So they said they went out and got all these transfers, and it's all about me. It's not about the team, the culture, anything. One parent said that Belichick doesn't even know the players on defense. That's what they said in the story. He doesn't even know some of the players. So now, here's where I'm at, though. This is a TV station out of North Carolina. They cover the Tar Heel stuff, so I tend to be like, well, this is journalistic, I guess. Careful interviewing parents. Be careful interviewing parents. I'm not going to stand up and for Bill Belichick at all. At all. Because you just watch it, and I've only watched twice. So I got to tell you, I've been dialed in on North Carolina football. I watched that first game, and I thought, oh, boy, this doesn't look great, but let's see how they do. And then this Clemson thing the other Saturday was really bad. And Bill just looks, he does look displaced. He looks non-interested. It's not just Bill talking like on to the next team like he did at New England. It's like this is just a mess. And so this big story's out. I just grabbed some of the quotes. He doesn't know some of the players on defense. That's according to a parent. It all starts at the top. It's an unstructured mess. There's no culture. It's individualistic. This sounds like a big problem. This sounds like a big problem. Do you buy into stories that quote parents? That's one argument. That's one argument to be had. But you better be careful standing up for when you got a mess going on at North Carolina like that. Because that's the thing. They didn't say this about Deion. I mean, people kind of compare Deion and Bill because they went and got the transfer portal and they're trying to get a program built and all that. You can say Deion's struggling now, but he got things going at Colorado, which was in much worse shape than North Carolina. Colorado was in really bad shape. We're talking 1-win shape. So, and you never heard about Deion not connecting with players, not caring about players. That's what this story is saying in North Carolina. So if some of this stuff's true, parents, it could be disgruntled. My kid doesn't get to play, blah, blah, blah. Sounds pretty bad. And it's a long story. WRAL. If you want to check it tonight, just came out this afternoon. Looks like Belichick's got a mess. Wonder how his girlfriend feels. Anyway, into the second hour, let's get into this. High school football needs some changes in South Dakota. There's no doubt about it in my mind anymore. I went to the game Friday night, Stevens and Sioux Falls Jefferson. I have some takeaways from that, and I believe we have to change at least one thing. Which one would you vote for? I've got a couple of options to try and get some programs back on track. We'll discuss next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet buys cars. You heard that right. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at rapidchevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and all of us at Renewal urge you to get your home tested for radon now. When Renewal's owner offered to pay for radon testing and mitigation if radon was found in our homes, several Renewal by Anderson team members found dangerously high levels of radon in their homes. This colorless, odorless gas is a killer. After smoking, radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer. The EPA estimates that radon causes 21,000 lung cancer deaths each year. Radon may also be linked to breast and other cancers, Parkinson's, dementia. Testing for radon is simple. Home tests cost under $20. Professional testing may be a couple of $100, and if you have radon, it's easy to get rid of with a relatively inexpensive system that blows that radon out of a vent. From all of us at your local Renewal by Anderson, please invest in your family's safety today. Get a radon test today. There could be an invisible killer in your home right now.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Hey, welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on a Monday. Thanks for being here at the Nate Brown Show. It's always a great day in South Dakota. You can book that, and we've got some great guests booked tonight. Chris Koletzky's coming up from Sturgis. We'll talk to the head coach for the Scoopers. What a night. They take down #1 Yankton, and now Sturgis, who's right in the mix. They're in the mix in 11AA. They're going to take on Pierre this week. Head coach is Chris Koletzky. We'll talk about the Scooper revival of a program there. Thor Nystrom's in tonight from the Twin Cities. We'll talk Vikings. How good of shape are the Vikings really in? How do you guys feel as Vikings fans? You're 3-2. I told a friend of mine who's a big Vikings fan today, you should feel good. He didn't. We'll talk to Thor Nystrom coming up from Twin Cities. He's with Score North and Fantasy Life, college football NFL analyst. Thor Nystrom's on tap as our next guest. If you want to text the show, you can do that, 605-720-1067. We read those over the air. Be a part of the conversation that way on the text line. So I went to this game Friday night. I started my show with it today in the first hour. You can go to the opening monologue. I'm not going to redo the thing tonight, but I do want to get to the question of the day based on what I experienced Friday night. Sioux Falls Jefferson at Rapid City Stevens. And my whole take on it was the student body showed up. There was a great crowd. The band was going. It was outstanding. And then the players that are out on the field for the Raiders and the coaches, I want to credit them and commend them for competing, being a part of a program when you know things are going south. I mean, they know it's a bad, rough deal. Football's a tough sport as it is. And then you're mismatched like they were Friday, and it's like that a lot. They don't have hardly any kids on the team, 17 injuries. I mean, the list goes on. The program hasn't won in 2 seasons. So I commend that. That's not easy for the players and coaches. I mean, we people talk about, well, just do this and just do that. It's easier said than done, man. So the players and coaches out there still giving the time and the effort and the commitment, I commend you. Really easy for kids today to bag it. And a ton of them have, by the way. So it's easier for the kids in the hallway to say, it's not worth it. So the kids that are playing, congrats to you. Try and keep grinding. But there's got to be some changes for a team and a program like Stevens to be able to get competitive. There's numerous things to change. But how about the structure of South Dakota high school football? Because Jefferson was, it was a total mismatch. I looked, by the time they get up 50-0, it's like it's a walkthrough. I don't even think the Jefferson kids were having that much fun. I'm serious. I was watching them. It was like they just walked into the end zone. And people were like, oh, yeah, good job, I guess. I mean, that's what it felt like to me as I was watching it. So Jefferson's not getting much out of it. Stevens isn't getting much out of it. So what would you vote for if I made a proposal? Well, how about I make a proposal to the Activities Association Board of Directors? Can I do that? Do I have to get an administrator to help me? Maybe I'll try that. But here's the proposal. We got to change one thing. And there's 2 options to me. Let the schools schedule their own regional games. You can schedule like half of their season, the state, and then the schools have to schedule half. So then they're not playing Brandon Valley, Sioux Falls, Lincoln back to back. I mean, that's ridiculous. So if you want to mandate about half the schedule for playoff seeding and purposes like that, you got to do that. So the states, let's do half, and then like we get our non-conference, let's call it non-conference, and let the schools schedule their own games. So then Stevens can play a Spearfish, a Douglas, I don't know, maybe even a Sturgis, maybe even a St. Thomas More sometimes. Who knows? Okay? So Rapid City Christian, whoever. Let them, maybe it's a Wyoming team. I just go down the list. That's one change. It would save budget. The schools are always tight on the budget. They got to travel to Sioux Falls 3 to 4 times a year. And that's unbelievable. For what? The Sioux Falls teams don't get any competitiveness out of it right now with the state of the programs. So would you vote for that? Let the schools schedule their own games, at least half of their season. Regional rivalries, better for the schools, the student body that wanted to cheer on Friday night. They showed up. They wanted to cheer. It's 35-0 in the blink of an eye. And so the culture there just kills it. It just kills it. Atmosphere's there. The team's not there. So you got to have better games. You got to have more competitive games. So there's one option there. The other one is the success factor, meaning when teams haven't won like Stevens over a 2-year span, for example, they should be able to move down a class. And people will run and say, well, you can already do that. You can petition. So Stevens would have to say, hey, we want to move down in football. And guess what? The politics there, the parents aren't going to go for it. You're not going to get enough support for that. People are going to push back and say, oh, this is ridiculous. You got to have a success factor in place, a model that has data that says, here's why teams move down. And it's not just one school saying, hey, we want to move down. We already let that happen with Watertown and Aberdeen Central. Why'd they get to move down? Would you say Watertown and Aberdeen Central were in a little better shape than Stevens and Rapid City Central? I would. So why'd Watertown and Aberdeen Central get to move down? So it just doesn't make sense. You got to have a success factor that says, here's what it says, and you're able to move down. You haven't made the playoffs. You haven't won this percentage of games. It's really easy. You just have a model in place. So which would you vote for? Those are the two options to at least help programs that are just mismatched. And people would say, just get better. I hear that one. That's a good one. Just get better. Go to the game Friday night. Look at the program. Look at the numbers. Okay? Look at the last two seasons. And you give me your answer of how you get better. Everybody's a smart guy on social media. We know it all. We know everything. we have all the answers on social media, and I love it. Get better. What's your answer then? So there has to be a system to allow programs to get a win or two here and there. Why can't Stevens play Watertown? Why can't Rapid City Central play Aberdeen Central? That's ridiculous. They got to play Brandon Valley, Sioux Falls, Lincoln, Harrisburg, and follow it up with Jefferson. Have a good time, everybody. So, which would you vote for? It's my question of the day. Let's see. I got a listener text from a Jefferson parent. I got to read this. I got a listener text from a Jefferson parent who was there on Friday. Listener text. Stevens and Central should be in AA, not AAA. It would save Rapid City and Sioux Falls Metro money. I bet parents on both sides would be happy. What a venue and a crowd Friday night. As a Jefferson parent, it was impressive. We were blown away about the crowd size. The following is definitely there. And that's the type of stuff. It's there. The system needs to be tweaked. Winning does matter. It matters with numbers and school-wide culture and enthusiasm in building the program. The coach just can't do it by himself. Hey, they got a new coach. That's not going to work. You got to have some changes to have a little bit of success to build and build and build. It takes small steps. You're not going to win tomorrow. But in this current format, they haven't won in 2 seasons, and you just keep on running into a brick wall. We're not changing anything. I think it's time to, you got to take it serious. You got to change one thing. One thing. What would you support? Have the schools schedule their own games so you get some better games, save some money, or do a success factor and have teams move down. Not just petition to move down. You have them move down when they lose, like they have. So what would you support? Let's see here. Listener poll looks like this. If you supported one change for high school football, which would it be? 56% say do a success factor, move teams down. 56% say move teams down as you would support that. 44% voting for let the schools schedule their own regional games. All right. Listener text. Rapid City Central and Stevens will never make it deep in the playoffs if nothing changes. Yeah, I mean, that's right on. Right on. Listener text, I would vote for letting the teams move down, a success factor. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. I hope we can get it. I mean, we can't just keep doing this over and over. This is a bad scene Friday night. Kids want to be excited. Team wants to be excited. Band is there. Crowd is there. Rapid City people that have come to the game to watch things. They hadn't seen a game before. That's their first time there. What do you think they think? It's rough, man. It's not an uphill climb. That's a mountain. A mountain. All right. Thor Nystrom's in. College football NFL analyst from the Twin Cities. How good does he feel for the Vikings right now? Thor Nystrom coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and when Renewal offered to pay for employees' radon testing and mitigation, several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know that, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
From all of us at Renewal by Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in, everybody. How are you tonight? Hopefully solid. It's Monday, so I know it's Monday. The Nate Brown Show is on. Thanks for being here on the drive home. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports. Just head coach Chris Koletzky coming up. Big win for the Scoops. Who had the bigger win, the Scoopers or the Broncos? I don't know. It's up there. It's up there. Chris Koletzky is coming up. Sturgis head coach. Let's go to Thor Nystrom. Appreciate his time. He's on X at ThorKU. Good follow. Fantasy Life. This great coverage of the NFL and college football across the board. Some Vikings coverage. You know that from Thor. He's in the Twin Cities. Thor Nystrom back on. Thor, how are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
Good, man. So I got a question about the Vikes. I want to start there with you. Should the Vikings feel good? Vikings fans, should they feel good about where they're at, 3-2 out of this injury-plagued season and the whole deal? Should they feel good?
Vikings fans should feel thrilled about being 3-2 coming out of the biblical plague of injuries that the Vikings had at the beginning of the season, especially cluster ones at specific positions. Offensive line's about the worst one that you can get it at in any level of football, and the Vikings in particular, because they had developed a really good starting five. The depth is not there yet, and the reasoning or the excuse or the finger pointing has come out for that. The reasoning for that. Is it because Kwesi has been poor at drafting, and so they don't have quality depth at positions like that? Is it because the offensive line coach hasn't developed the guys that have been drafted for him? But yeah, in lieu of the injuries, to have gone 3-2, I think is pretty promising.
Okay, so I talked to a couple of Vikings fans. They're like, "Oh, I don't feel good. I don't." When you get back, do you think this is a team that can keep things together? Coming through a bye week, J.J. McCarthy health-wise, where do you think they can get to still?
Yeah, I mean the season certainly is not dead, and that game against the Browns was of absolutely huge importance going into the bye. You lose that one, and you're 2-3, and then the hard part of the schedule opens up. Even getting back all the reinforcements that you will after the bye, it starts mathematically becoming a long road, in terms of trying to project the team to get to 10 wins. But now that you're 3-2 and you do have all those reinforcements coming, and then some of the start of the gauntlet, what looked like some games where be brutally hard to win if you could project them at all, they're against some opponents that have taken a slight step back in the last couple of weeks. The Eagles, we've seen over the weekend, they can be beaten. Next game at the Chargers, they've had their own biblical injuries on the offensive line. Lions game will be tough, of course, but then the Ravens, obviously having a poor season. Will Lamar Jackson be back by then? We're not sure, but the defense playing down, everything like that. So, I mean, with all the guys that you have coming back, and we have to see which ones are coming back. Right, we know that some will be coming back that first game after the bye against the Eagles. We don't know which ones yet. McCarthy, of course, is a part of that group, but Brian O'Neill, would be another one. When's Aaron Jones coming back? Cashman, Van Ginkel. There's some concerns around here that Van Ginkel, that thing might linger all season. There's similar concerns about Ryan Kelly, who has had multiple concussions this year, 5 going back to 2023. So when do we get those guys back? But yeah, the season is far, far from over because we know we're getting back. Some of those guys in at 3-2, you still got a fighter's chance.
Thor Nystrom on from Minneapolis, talking Vikings, fantasy life, college football, NFL draft analyst. One more on the Vikings. Here's what I see from the defense. Brian Flores throws a bunch of stuff at people. I don't know if they're still good against the run. So I think the Vikings defense is good, not great. You tell me.
It's a great point that you make, Nate, there at the end as far as the run defense, which has regressed just a bit. And I wonder how much of that has to do with the trade of Harrison Phillips. You know, a guy that the Vikings, they really liked. Speaking of one position where they have developed depth, defensive line, Levi Drake Rodriguez, you ran into one there in the 7th round, and then Jalen Redmond out of UDFA. He was actually in the USFL when they signed him, but a former 5-star recruit at Oklahoma, who it just took him a while before he sort of coalesced. But you trade Harrison Phillips because the emergence of those guys, and then your 2 high-dollar free agent signings over the offseason at that position in Jonathan Allen and Hargrave. You trade Harrison Phillips, but now you have seen, not only a regression of the overall run defense, but with specific players. And Ivan Pace, one of the starting outball linebackers, his run defense went from exceptional the past couple of years to well below average, and you could even say poor this year. And we're wondering if the undersized but active Pace, if the reason his run defense has regressed to the degree that it has is that you don't have a grinding, occupying presence in Harrison Phillips. Harrison Phillips was not flashy
but he occupied the offensive lineman in front of him, allowing linebackers behind him to flow. But yeah, you have seen a bit of a regression with that. They're in deference for defensive linemen that create their own penetration, but don't keep gap responsibility quite as good as a guy like Harrison Phillips. The defense a little bit different this year, but if they get back to full strength, particularly looking at Cashman and Van Ginkel, I still think it can be the top three potentially qualitatively week in, week out that we maybe thought it could be in the preseason. But those couple linebackers need to come back for sure, and then we'll see what we have when they're full strength.
Thor Nystrom on tonight. Appreciate his time on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline out of Minneapolis, talking Vikings. Now, I want to go college football and just get your read on a couple of things. There's a story that just came out this afternoon, Thor. You probably haven't read it. It's kind of long. WRAL, TV station out of North Carolina. Headline, players and parents blame Belichick culture for North Carolina problems. There's parents in there quoted saying Belichick doesn't know some of the defensive players, doesn't even talk to them, doesn't know them. They say it's a mess with Belichick. What should we take away from a story like this?
That is I hadn't seen that yet, but that is the least surprising story that I've ever heard. I mean, it would almost be surprising if it was anything the opposite. If the reporter could have found any parents that would say something nice about Bill Belichick, that's not surprising me at all. When I watched the North Carolina, I was just talking about this on the phone with the college football guy earlier today. The offense seems to have no direction, and then maybe that's not the surprising thing. The defense doesn't tackle. Like it's not an attacking defense, but they also, just like the nuts and bolts of defensive football, you don't really see like that. Their opponents just run through them like a hot knife through butter, and Belichick on the sidelines appears kind of totally removed from it. We sort of. The harbinger of what was to come here maybe was dating the 23, 24-year-old, but in Belichick telling us that he clearly doesn't care what we think about his legacy. But the fact that it seems like he's kind of no-showing this head coaching job here, in terms of the daily grind of the film analysis and making opponent-specific game plans and going out there and recruiting and stuff like that. He's obviously no-showed that, but it also seems like he's using the levers of the power that he has there to further this strangely petty sort of thing that he has. There was the weird thing overnight with Drake May. He has a fabulous game last night. The UNC Twitter feed has not tweeted about him all season, and then there was a story that came out yesterday that the reason that they didn't was Bill Belichick had mandated that they don't do anything to promote the New England Patriots. And, of course, that's where former UNC quarterback Drake May is with the Patriots. Yeah. Well, then this morning, the UNC Twitter feed finally posted highlights of Drake May going ballistic last night. In one of the first signs that we've seen that someone above Bill Belichick, because that wasn't the intern defying Bill Belichick. That was someone above Bill Belichick going to the social media intern and saying, tweet this thing out. I don't care what Coach Belichick says. To me, that is the first sign that we got some friction there, and I'll be curious to see what else we see. But yeah, Belichick is not long for that job, whether it's fired or whether it's stepped down. At this point, I would almost be surprised if he's there week one of next season.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. That's not a hot take then for me to say. A listener texted in and said, "This is it for Belichick just this season." Is that a hot take?
I don't think it is. I would have thought it was before the season for sure, but just seeing the way it's played out with the team no-showing week in and week out, no progress being made with recruiting, most of the stories coming out of there either being parents justifiably being upset or Bill Belichick's newest mandate to his staff of don't you dare mention the New England Patriots, and if any of their scouts request to come here, you be sure to tell them no because they were very mean to me. It's like, bro, college football, we are now like we're in the future now. It's like Back to the Future 2. Like we have reached a point in college football I never thought we would get to in our lifetime. Bill Belichick, the game passed him by 20 years ago or so. But to say nothing of the future of the sport that we have gotten to, he is in so far over his head. And the sadder thing is, I don't know that he doesn't really seem to care. Yeah. He seems to be focused on other things.
Last one, Thor Nystrom. Speaking of a tough time, James Franklin loses to Oregon and then loses to UCLA. UCLA is like all-time not good. At least it appeared to be that way. They played well Saturday. So where's James Franklin at now at Penn State?
James Franklin has fooled me for the last time. Penn State was one of my 2 national title picks in the preseason, so I got egg all over my face. People would say, like, oh, well, Thor, but he doesn't win the big game. And it's like, man, they spent a lot of money to bring that roster back. There was 6 guys or so on that roster that I thought would be in the last draft class that I had to remove in my database late because they all decided to go back to Penn State. There was obviously some big donor money that led to bring those guys back. You know, Alar, Singleton, Katron Allen, Dennis Sutton, the edge rusher, Shelton, the offensive tackle, could go on and on and on. They got all these guys to come back. And then they have 2 high-money coordinators on both sides of the ball, including on the defensive side, one that they poached from Ohio State right after the national title game. They had everything that they needed this year. And I'm not going to get on you for losing to Oregon. That Oregon team is awesome, and that was a back-and-forth game, no problem. But coming out the next week and the no effort and the no game plan, it seemed like, and then at halftime they're coming off, and UCLA had kind of whipped them in the first half, and the reporter goes up and asks Franklin, like, what has sort of been the issue, and how can you sort of fix it? And he was just saying, oh, we just have a couple small things we need to clean up. We're going to be fine. And it's like, man, you just got whipped in the first half
by UCLA, right?
You should be shell shocked here. So yeah, it's pretty shocking, and I've kind of lost some faith in James Franklin, and their season's over. At least their hopes for it in the preseason.
That's a wild one, man. Wild Saturday. Thor Nystrom in on it. Fantasy Life for the coverage. College football, NFL. Find him on X at ThorKU. Always great, man. I appreciate you. Thanks.
Thanks so much, and I appreciate you.
Thor Nystrom on tonight. Follow him at ThorKU if you want. Good football guy, NFL and college. Fantasy Life, where you'll find him. All right, Chris Koletzky's on next. Sturgis head coach. The Scoopers knocked down #1 Yankton. And now it's Pierre this week. Coach Koletzky live, coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are #1. So you can always be their #1. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The #1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and when Renewal offered to pay for employees' radon testing and mitigation, several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know what a killer it is, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
From all of us at Renewal by Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest. Should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside. You don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on, and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their #1 priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in Your Sports, Your Show, The Nate Brown Show. From high school to college to the pros, South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio every afternoon drive. Thanks for being here. If you missed parts of the program, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It's there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Search The Nate Brown Show, and you've got every show, every guest. Let's go to Sturgis. Scoopers take down #1 Yankton 27-21. That was a biggie. Now the Scoopers got to take on Pierre. Doesn't get any easier. 11 AA has been a blast for a football fan. Chris Koletzky is the head coach in Sturgis with the big win over Yankton. Coach, welcome in. How are you?
Great, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you hopping in. I know you guys are busy preparing for another one. So you take down #1 Yankton. I see 11 AA. I'm trying to look at all these games, and I'm watching them online, and I'm going, man, a lot of teams can take down anybody. Do you guys feel like, hey, any game we're playing now this year, we can beat anybody?
Well, for sure, and they can beat us. It all comes down, we just talked about and just broke out here and in practice, but it really comes down to, no team's really an underdog this year, and you got to be prepared each week, and it's about being intentional and practice each day. And, the teams that stay healthy and get better at their technique and their assignment and alignment and all those things that you work on every single day, really going to be the teams that are going to kind of rise to the top at the end. But for sure, there's a lot of parity in AA. It's great. Spearfish is playing great right now out here as well. It's just really good to see.
How did you kind of keep things together here? Sully Jost has been a workhorse for you. He goes down. That's a big deal. How did you guys answer that?
Well, really I give the players the credit. That was kind of the thing in Aberdeen there when we lost that game. It was looking for somebody to step up, make a play, and be the guy. And it was too much of, hey, is it going to be you? I don't, looking around, trying to see if somebody else does it. And that was really the great thing on Friday night was a bunch of different guys in that second half and that fourth quarter had big catches, big runs, big defensive stops, big plays. And so, when you talk about an overall team aspect and everybody having to step up, big blow losing Sully. But other guys have kind of stepped up, and that was probably the really good thing to see from that game.
Sully Joe's been a great player for the Scoopers. Goes down, and Scoopers bounce back, and they beat #1 Yankton 27-21 Friday. So you did lose a couple there, and you kind of mentioned it. Huron, Aberdeen Central. And I know kind of anybody can beat anybody. What did you tell the team, though? Couple of losses. Sometimes it can get you down. What was your reaction after those losses?
Just to be, to remind them what our goals were that we had at the beginning of the year and that they're still, reachable. Sure, we hit a bump in a row. We had some adversity. We didn't play well enough to win those games. But to ultimately understand that, we have the talent to be able to play with some of these teams, at least we believe that, and to get back to what we're doing and just be intentional each day and really focusing on that because you can't look at the standings, you can't look at all that stuff and all the noise. Be intentional every day, get better. And ultimately, what happens in the game happens. It'll take care of itself. Chris
Koletzky on from Sturgis Scoopers. Big win over Yankton. Tell me what you were impressed with. I think Yankton had 3 turnovers, so you had some takeaways. What were you impressed with? How did you get the win?
Well, really how we stopped the run and kind of made them one-dimensional in the first half. We gave up some big pass plays. And you don't want to have that. But at the same time, when you're making a team one-dimensional, you make some adjustments at halftime. And if you can stop the run and make teams throw the football, there's some other things that you can do to adjust and go through that, But when you're not stopping the run and you're on your heels, that makes it very difficult. So we were okay at halftime. We didn't panic, and that's one thing I'll say our coaches did a great job of is just staying pretty even keel with our guys and not panicking in those tight situations down the road. But that's also something when you're kind of an underdog, you can do that. Now, when you come down the stretch here and you're expected to compete, when things get tight, how are you going to react?
What do the players think when they face Pierre? It's a big, bad name. Pierre has been the team. They're beatable, but what does Pierre kind of provide mentally?
Well, I think at this point, they're just really well coached, and so they're going to make adjustments, and they're going to come out with something they've seen a vulnerability that you maybe didn't recognize, and you got to be prepared as a coaching staff and the players to be able to respond to those different looks and those things that they do. Here's a team that's, winning all those state championships in a row, comes with a lot of culture and their standards and everything that they have there. But I think we got guys that, look at that and look at it as a challenge more as just a great opportunity, not necessarily like, oh, it's here again.
Yeah. I looked at your program, Coach. You've had tough games over the years. You've kept grinding. You've built this thing up. Now these games against Pierre are real games. Sturgis taking on Pierre this week after the big win over number 1 Yankton. Chris Koletzky's the head coach for the Scoopers. I look at Pierre. They got one guy, D1 guy. He's whittled it down to 4 teams. What do you think of Terwilliger, their tight end?
Oh, he's unbelievable. When the game's on the line and they got to have it or they got to have a 3rd and long, you kind of know where the ball's going. And they got a couple guys that'll make plays, obviously, too, like Chief Obama, one of the receivers. But it goes through Terwilliger, and he's very, very difficult. So, that's one of the challenges is being able to try to somehow neutralize him the most we can by giving him extra attention. But he's going to make plays. That's going to happen where it's just freaky plays here and there. You just have to be consistent and try to take it away as much as you can.
Hey, I've seen something. You get a win, then you have like a brick that you allow the team, like you could take a sledgehammer to it. What's this all about?
Well, we started doing that many years ago. Just the players sign it, and then after a victory, they get to choose who the most valuable player is, and they get to break it. And it's just something that we've done for years. We kind of took from Florida State just as an idea to kind of hype up each week and our commitment, and everybody signs it, and then they get to take a little piece of it home. So it's something that the kids always look forward to after a win, to be able to break that brick, and it's something us coaches are excited, obviously, when they get a chance to do that.
Yeah, you guys broke Yankton this week. That was a big win for Sturgis. They're on the scene. Now they've got Pierre, a game to watch in 11 AA. Fun talking Scooper football. He's got it going. Chris Koletzky. Coach, congrats on it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Head coach in Sturgis, Chris Koletzky, on tonight. Sturgis takes down Yankton. That's a big win. Bounce back after a couple of losses to Huron. They were in that for a long time, the Huron game. They were in that till the 4th quarter. And they lost Aberdeen Central. That was a surprise to me. Now they bounce back with a win over Yankton. And this week it's Pierre. Keep an eye on the Scoopers and Govs this week, South Dakota High School football. Chris Koletzky building up the Sturgis program. They started getting in the middle school there, started doing a lot of middle school stuff, signing day, stuff like that, creating a passion. Sturgis has bounced back. Good to see the Scoopers in the mix in 11 AA. Coming back on who's hot and who's not. Speaking of a South Dakota High School football team, this team won for the first time since 2019. Who's hot and who's not coming up?
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Fall is the best season, not just because football's back and my fantasy team's doing great, but it's getting cool enough for my favorite comfort food dinner, grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup. The soup can be homemade or from a can. I don't care, but a grilled cheese has gotta be sharp cheddar on either Country Heart's English muffin toasting bread or Dakota-style 12-grain. Baked right here in the Midwest, there's just no better bread than Country Heart. Heck, you can even skip the soup.
I started doing it once in a while, just for fun in the car with my friends. And yeah, I knew it was deadly, even illegal, but I didn't care. I remember looking down, and she was crossing the street, and I saw her just before I killed her.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Hey, Black Hills, this is Scott Hanna. And this is Adam Ray, and we have a full-service mechanical repair shop, Gateway Tire and Alignment, right here, right now. We have top-of-the-line equipment with skilled, experienced, expert mechanics, offering all services from oil changes starting at $49.95 to brakes, to free AC checks, diagnostics, engine work, even diesel. We can get you in now. No more waiting for weeks to get your car in for service. We're your one-stop shop for sales and service. Visit us at 123 Omaha or go to GatewayAutoplex.com to book your appointment. Gateway Sales and Service. I'm Scott Hanna. And I'm Adam Ray. And nobody, I mean nobody, beats a Gateway deal.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A frost advisory begins at midnight tonight and remains in effect until 8 a.m. tomorrow. Mainly clear tonight with a low of 37. Westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. High temperatures reach up to 65. Tomorrow, sunny skies. Clear skies tomorrow night, lows around 43. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 54.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
At Connect Home Center, they've been a part of the Mead Lumber family since 2000. Now, they're bringing everything together under one trusted name, Mead Lumber. Don't worry, your favorite team, great service, and high-quality products aren't going anywhere. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name. From design to finish, here for you every step of the way. Check them out at meadlumber.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. Let's do this. Who's hot and who's not every night at this time on the Nate Brown Show. Stories you may have missed or need to hear. Who's hot and who's not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, our longtime partners. Pizza Ranch is our favorite buffet. It's everyone's favorite buffet, locally owned and operated. Pizza Ranch. Hit the buffet tonight. Who's hot category going to the Newell Irrigators, the Gators. You know, they've had this football program. They've struggled. They haven't had numbers. They still don't have enough kids to have a 9-man team. So they play a 6-man schedule, but it's JV. So they throw in games. The Newell Irrigators haven't won a game since 2019. And we just see this. I just found this out. Newell just won a couple of weeks ago. They play a JV schedule, so not a ton of coverage about this. But I got to give them a little coverage on the Nate Brown Show. The Newell football program, they got like 6 kids on the team. All 6 of those kids play. Hopefully no injuries. Put in the manager. Anyway, so 6 kids played, and they beat Edgemont 46-13. 46-13. Newell Irrigators on their first football win in 6 years, since 2019. Congrats to Newell. Keep grinding. I like it. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, this is the wildest story of the weekend. I looked into the arrest paperwork, and I saw some of the footage and some of the pictures. It's a bad story. It's a weird story. Former Jets quarterback, Fox football analyst Mark Sanchez, arrested over the weekend, but he got stabbed, arrested for allegedly attacking a delivery driver in downtown Indianapolis, middle of the night. It's just a bizarre story, and I'm trying to figure out what else is going to come out about this. Mark Sanchez allegedly attacked a delivery driver, a 69-year-old guy. Just bizarre. Mark Sanchez was there to call the Colts-Raiders game and ended up in this unbelievable situation. And I guess we'll find out more about it. He's been charged with a felony. Been charged now with a felony. Mark Sanchez, a bad night. See you back here tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports